And you actually can make, I think I've made like $7 already just from doing it. And it's just cool just because, that's a nice drink at Starbucks. So there we go. Hello! So today I wanted to talk about how I go about distributing and recording my podcast. So to give you a breakdown, when I first started out my podcast, I decided to just record with my MacBook Pro because I wanted kind of that easier barrier to entry of I want to be able to just go to a friend's house, and if they're game to talk about something, I want to be able to just pop it up, record it, and call it a day and not have a big setup with it. So I did not have a microphone initially. And I think this worked out pretty well because I had a good laptop and it was newer. And so the recordings came out pretty good. A professional audio person might think differently, but I thought it was good just to kind of get things out there because I didn't know if I wanted to do podcasts right away. So I wanted to kind of record a couple and see where things kind of fell and if I wanted to make more. So I didn't want to go about buying a microphone or anything like that. I then got a USB condenser microphone pretty recently, and I've been loving the recordings that have been coming up on it. So if you know that you want to continue making podcasts and you want to record with better audio, I strongly suggest a USB condenser microphone because it is awesome, it's super sensitive, and it helps just get all of the audio that you want to capture. That's my how to record kind of POV. Then I found Anchor podcast, anchor.fm, which is now owned by Spotify, via my friend who also records podcasts, and it is just a great platform. It makes things so easy to distribute your podcast, and it goes to all major channels like Spotify and Google and Apple Podcast, and it just makes it so easy. So you just have to go to anchor.fm and make your profile, and then you will have to upload it. So then once you have it uploaded, you can fill in all the information for it and kind of what episode it is, and make sure to keep track of what episodes you have shared already in what seasons, because that will help keep everything organized on the podcasting platforms themselves. And then you can submit your own cover art for each individual podcast and just for your podcast overall, which I think is awesome. I strongly suggest having a well thought out picture for your podcast, just because with it being audio only, having that visual element is really all people have to go off of. So I would suggest having a really good cover art photo for that. And take time, enjoy it, and get out your Photoshop skills or your Canva skills and make something really nice to look at and that really resembles what your podcast is all about, or just resembles you if it's you talking about various topics too. What's really cool about Anchor is that it is free, and it does allow you to have sponsorships on your ads, whether that be just for Anchor, the platform itself, or sometimes I've been reached out to about having ads on my podcast from actual clients and companies. So I thought that was pretty cool, and you actually can make, I think I've made $7 already just from doing it, and it's just cool just because, that's a nice drink at Starbucks, so it's money I didn't have before. I'll put a link to it down below, and I would also strongly suggest you get a condenser microphone if you know you want to record more podcasts. And other than that, have fun podcasting. And you can also check out my podcast. It's called So Your ... or you can search my name on podcasting platforms and it should come up as well. The goal of my podcast is to talk to interesting people with interesting experiences that everyone can relate to. So I talk about anything from addiction to the best shows on Netflix. I really keep the topics very different. And I do talk about similar things sometimes, but go on there and see if one kind of catches your eye, give it a listen, and you can let me know your thoughts on my podcast in the comments below, maybe message me on Instagram. If you have any other tips for podcasting that you want to discuss with me, or any other questions on Anchor, then feel free to comment down below and we can start that conversation. But otherwise, happy podcasting.